Martell Holt just can't seem to stay out of the drama, and this latest mess has everyone talking. From him still bringing up his divorce with Melody Shari years later, to pressuring his mama in ways that just have folks shaking their heads. It's like he refuses to truly move on. Now, according to what's being said, Mama Holt still has feelings about that divorce. But honestly, hasn't it been over 5 or 6 years? Melody and Mama Holt already had their words handled there. Issues and moved forward. But here, Martell is acting like everybody needs to still be stuck in 2017 with him. And the irony is, wild Mama Holt can call hardworking Melody lazy. But somehow, it's all fine for Martell to bankroll his side chick, Arionne Curry, who isn't exactly winning Employee of the Year awards. The hypocrisy is loud, and fans see it. This is why so many people believe Martell will never truly move on, because deep down, he knows he will never find another woman like Melody. Men be knowing, and this one knows he fumbled the bag. Now, while all of that's swirling, we've got Letitia Scott, Kimmy Scott, Maurice Scott, and Marcia Scott all showing up to Trisha's birthday celebration. Ready to mix, mingle, and let's be real, sip a little tea. But before the party could even get comfortable, here comes Letitia. Once again inserting herself where she doesn't belong. She's got something to say about why Ken is in Trisha's birthday pictures. Girl, it's her birthday. She wants Ken Herman in the photos, then that's exactly what's going to happen. But Letitia couldn't help herself, acting all bothered like she's the relationship police. And honestly, the shade writes itself, because the first time Marcia went to Africa, he didn't even take her. Then he turned around and went on another trip without her again. Yet she's so pressed about someone else's man showing up in a photo that's rich. It was like Letitia came into that party with a head full of liquid courage and an agenda. She's talking, interrupting, and acting like everybody else's business is her business. All while not even keeping her own. Marriage drama-free. And here's the kicker, while she's busy trying to dig into Trisha and Ken's situation. She doesn't realize half the room is side-eyeing her. Miss Nell is standing right there, looking like she's just about over Letitia's antics. Kimmy has to step in and tell Letitia to let people talk because every time someone else tries to share their side, Letitia jumps in and changes the subject. This is why Miss Nell says they're not transparent. She feels like whenever the heat is on Letitia and Marcia, they clam up, change the topic, and suddenly forget what was even asked. But the second it's someone else's turn to be under the microscope, they're front row popcorn in hand. Miss Nell brought up Martell's interview, which clearly made Letitia uncomfortable. Instead of just addressing it head on, she tries to downplay it like she didn't even watch it. But everyone remembers she and Marcia doing an entire live about it. So either her memory is bad or she's just straight up lying. Then she has the nerve to try and twist things around on Miss Nell by bringing up infidelity like it's some kind of clapback. The shade is deep, but it's also petty. Because we all know Letitia's experienced her own share of questionable moments in her marriage, even if she wants to turn a blind eye and pretend otherwise. Meanwhile, on the guy's side, Marcia and Maurice are talking to Chris Fletcher about that whole NDA comment he made about side chicks. Chris looked completely unbothered, and honestly, why wouldn't he? If the shoe fits. Maurice tried to act like he had all this smoke for Chris, but it was clear Chris wasn't taking him seriously. Then the ladies came over, and somehow Letitia once again found herself in the middle of another confrontation, this time pointing and getting all up in Miss Nell's face. Even Marcia had to call her out, saying she acts like everybody is her husband when they're not. Imagine your own man not having your back. In public, that's embarrassing. Miss Nell's confessional summed it up perfectly. She's tired of Letitia turning up on her for no reason. And the receipts don't lie. They rolled the footage of all the times Letitia has dismissed her, excluded her, or thrown shade. And it's a pattern. It's like she can't help herself. By the end of the night, Marcia was leading Letitia away from the situation before it got any uglier. But the tension? Oh, it's still there. And let's not forget, all of this is happening while Martell is sitting back, probably thinking about how to spin his latest narrative involving Arionne, Mama Holt, and a supposed move-on that clearly hasn't happened. Martell's behavior in all this is almost like a man who wants to have it both ways. He's still emotionally tangled up in Melody, yet he's trying to present Arionne as the one. It's like he's pressuring Mama Holt to warm up too, Arionne, and accept her in a more official role. But the problem is, the history is too messy. Fans know the damage that relationship caused, and no amount of staged outings or soft-focus Instagram posts can erase that. Deep down, Martell probably realizes that no matter how much he tries to sell the moving on story, people will always see Arionne as the side chick who helped break apart his marriage. That's a tough reputation to shake, especially when your ex-wife is thriving, booked, and unbothered. Meanwhile, Letitia's need to insert herself into other people's relationships is becoming almost a second career for her. The way she grilled Tisha about having Ken in her birthday pictures was giving major deflect from my own marriage energy. It's as if she can't relax unless she's controlling the narrative in someone else's love life. And the wild part, she's not slick about it at all. The room felt the tension, and you could see Tisha trying to play it cool while clearly being irritated. There's a difference between being curious and being messy, and Letitia seems to live in that messy lane without shame. And it's not just Tisha. She goes after Miss Nell has been catching Letitia's stray comments for a while now. The birthday party just brought that underlying tension into the spotlight. Miss Nell is direct. She's not one to beat around the bush, which clearly bothers Letitia. But instead of just hearing her out, Letitia interrupts, deflects, and tries to poke at Miss Nell's personal life. That tactic might work on people who don't like confrontation, but Miss Nell, she's built for it. When she called out the lack of transparency, she hit a nerve. Because the truth is, Letitia and Marcel don't want to put their own issues under the same microscope they put on others. Kimi, who often plays peacemaker, was clearly over the constant interruptions. You could hear the frustration in her voice when she told Letitia to let people speak. Kimi knows that productive conversations can't happen when one person dominates and derails everything. And Kimi's right, there's a pattern with Letitia avoiding accountability. Whether it's skipping over questions about Martell's interview or pretending not to remember things she's publicly commented on. It's like there's a wall between her and the truth. That wall isn't just keeping people out tits, trapping her in the same defensive cycle. The guy's conversation about NDAs was another layer of irony. Marsa and Morris acting shocked at the suggestion of side chicks signing agreements. Please. Fans haven't forgotten the whispers, the rumors, and the conveniently timed trips. Chris Fletcher, meanwhile, didn't even flinch. His "I know how you are" response to them said more than a full-on confession ever could. He wasn't rattled. He wasn't defensive. He just brushed it off like someone who's seen it all and doesn't have time for the fake outrage. When the women joined the men's circle, things went from mildly shady to straight-up hostile. Letitia pointing and getting in Miss Nell's face wasn't just disrespectful. It was a sign that she can't stand being challenged. Marsa's comment about her thinking every man is her husband was brutal. But it also exposed something real. Letitia's habit of trying to control people who aren't hers to control. It was telling that instead of defending her, Marsa essentially told her to back off. That moment said a lot about their dynamic and maybe even hinted at cracks in their united front. By the end of the party, you could feel the divide more clearly than ever. Miss Nell, Kimi, Tisha, they all seemed tired of the constant deflection and shade from Letitia. Marseille, in his own way, seems aware that his wife's approach is making her more enemies than allies. And Martell, he's still circling around the same old story. Still trying to make Arionne a main character when the audience already knows how her storyline began. The episode might have ended with everyone walking away, but the conversations, the side-eyes, and the grudges will keep building until the next explosion. That's the thing about this group. Nothing really gets resolved. It just gets tucked away until the next party, the next live, or the next interview. Martell will keep trying to rewrite history, Tisha will keep meddling, and the rest of the cast will keep calling each other out in between sips of wine. And as long as they keep doing that, we'll keep watching, because no matter how predictable the patterns are, the drama always finds a fresh way to unfold. Okay. Stick around until the very end of this video, because the deeper we dig into these dynamics, the more the connections between all these messy moments start to make sense.